But good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hans Melotte, as David mentioned, and I consider myself incredibly lucky to lead the global supply chain at Starbucks. That being said, I must confess that I stand here in front of you today with some trepidation, some humility, and also great respect. While I have been an avid coffee drinker since my teenager years, which in case you were doubting is a while back, I'm relatively new to the coffee industry, unlike most of you, and certainly unlike other presenters and panelists. I've been with Starbucks for a little over 2 years now, and came to coffee and Starbucks from the healthcare industry, a totally different industry, where I spent the last 20 years with Johnson & Johnson. So you could say that in a way, I've gone from one side of the healthcare spectrum to another side of the healthcare spectrum, so to speak. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak at this symposium. As one of the world's largest and leading retailers of specialty coffee, I will gladly provide some visibility into our aspirations and strategic priorities for the coming years. But first, happy 150th to PROBAT. I would be remiss not to reflect on our relationship over the past 45 years, and also want to take the opportunity to thank and congratulate the entire PROBAT family for an impeccably organized event. So please join me in giving a big hand to all PROBAT employees who are going above and beyond. Thank you. Starbucks aims to be one of the world's most trusted and slide forwarding companies, if it does work. Doesn't seem to work. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. We aim to be one of the world's most trusted and admired brands and aspire nothing less than to be a great and enduring company that redefines the role of a for-profit company. It's our privilege and our mission to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. And I call this out because it also defines and guides our relationship philosophy with our suppliers and business partners. As a company, Starbucks fosters long-term relationships with like-minded companies, those who share our values, those who share our commitment to quality, and those who share our dedication to putting people first. So therefore, we consider ourselves incredibly lucky. Our relationship with PROBAT extends close to 45 years and is based on a mutual respect for one another's crafts. We are equal partners, and certainly want to be equal partners, who share a passion for coffee and want nothing more than to ensure we consistently deliver the flavor in the cup that our customers so much deserve and want. That balanced, collaborative, and mutually beneficial partnership has allowed us both to innovate and thrive. And as you can see, in nearly 45 years, our specialty coffee retail business has grown to more than 28,000 stores in 78 countries, and we have more than 330,000 partners, our term for employees, around the world proudly wearing the green apron, and close to 100 million unique customer occasions per week globally. Now let's get back to Starbucks and PROBAT. Our relationship with PROBAT began shortly after Starbucks was founded in 1971, when we were selling freshly roasted coffee from a narrow storefront in Seattle's historic Pike Place Market. At that time, Starbucks was purchasing roasted whole bean coffee from Alfred Peet, who was delivering coffee on a weekly basis. When our demand grew to daily shipments, Starbucks commissioned its own PROBAT G120 and taught a team of roasters how to roast coffee. Our first roasting plant was on Airport Way in Seattle's industrial district. Scott Stauffer, who joined Starbucks as a roaster in '94 and who's now a PROBAT family member, must recall the original G120 in operation there, as well as two rebuilt R1500s. Nearly 45 years later, Starbucks now has a fleet of dozens of PROBAT roasters at our plants and roasteries around the world. So PROBAT, You definitely helped us create our signature Starbucks roast behind the scenes and are now an absolute centerpiece at our Starbucks Reserve roasteries in Seattle, Shanghai, Milano, opened 2 weeks ago, and very soon to be followed by New York, and then later on Tokyo. At these roasteries, PROBATs hum as they roast some of the world's rarest small lot Arabica beans while customers watch in awe and fascination. To say you've earned the utmost respect from our partners over the years is an understatement. So in preparation for this symposium, I talked to a few partners in coffee and master roasters who average about 25 years at Starbucks. Andrew Linneman, Dave Wickberg, Ruben Maglaya, Clay Knowles, Boy Lee, Chris Valentine, Brian Berg, just to name a few. And here's what they had to say. I'll read some of the quotes. There you are. Regardless of our countries of origin and what our differences may be, we all enjoy a great cup of coffee. PROBAT roasters allow Starbucks to consistently produce high-quality coffee to make those great cups. Second quote, PROBAT is an advanced engineered high-performance roaster that has withstood the test of time. Latte art, flat whites, cold brew may come and go, but PROBAT roasters are consistent, steady, and reliable. Small independent coffee shops are clamoring for vintage G120s. Last but not least statement, PROBAT is the Mercedes-Benz of roasters. But to get the most out of a machine, you must for sure know how to drive it. So with some fantasy, I guess you could say that in this context, we would like to consider ourselves as the Lewis Hamilton of coffee roasters, roasting or driving the PROBAT roasters. So let me now switch to some of our strategic priorities at Starbucks. Oops, sorry. It's already been said multiple times earlier today as well as yesterday, in the breakout rooms as well as here on stage. At a macro level, the retail industry is undergoing seismic change. Consumer behavior is shifting incredibly rapidly from brick and mortar shopping to online shopping, and that trend is here to stay. It's not going back. Closer to home, it's also been said that the specialty coffee industry is also facing a lot of change. Marco Lavazza cited a few recent examples in his remarks earlier this morning. And so we at Starbucks are absolutely not immune, and frankly believe that this change, as challenging as it may feel today, is good, as it will bring out the best in all of us. So net, we do feel we're well positioned to face these opportunities based on the following focus areas. First of all, innovation. We are accelerating relevant product innovation around our core beverages in response to more rapidly changing shifts in consumer preferences. Health and wellness, just one to mention. Nitro, cold brew, and variations of cold brew are going gangbusters, and refreshments like iced tea or plant-based refreshments are replacing demand for Frappuccino. We're also delivering healthier food options through our recently launched Mercado Fresh Lunch assortment. And in response to a trend towards convenience, we've also recently announced delivery partnerships within the US with Uber Eats and in China with Alibaba. Secondly, digital relationships. It is a fact, whether we like it or not, that we live in a digital world, okay? And as Starbucks, no other retail brand has a digital advantage on the scale of Starbucks. We presently have more than 15 million active Starbucks Rewards customers and counting, and will continue to further these customer relationships through digitization by delivering greater personalization opportunities and tailored one-on-one offerings and promotions. Clearly, that is not enough, however. Again, it's been said multiple times here, so I can only repeat and concur with that statement, because I too wholeheartedly believe that at the end of the day, the importance of the store experience and the barista experience is critically important. So for us to deliver that unique third place experience at Starbucks remains critically important, make no mistake. And we will continue to differentiate our brand through offering premier customer experiences of community and convenience defined by exceptional in-store experiences. As we invest in our partners, as we invest in Siren Retail, Roastery, and Reserve initiatives, of which you've seen some photos and of which I've spoken briefly earlier. And geographically, two of our biggest growth markets are and will continue to be the United States and China. In the US, we will expand our footprint in under-penetrated markets, add more creative drive-through stores focused on efficiency to meet the need states of convenience and speed for those people going to work in the morning. And we will also open new concept stores, for instance, solely focused on mobile order and pay. As regards to China, our aspirations include doubling our store count from about 3,000 today to about 6,000 between now and 2022, and in doing so, triple our revenue in that same time frame. And finally, our Global Coffee Alliance. We've recently announced it, and we closed the alliance with Nestle at the end of August. And we are incredibly excited about that alliance, because it does grant Nestle the perpetual rights to market our Starbucks consumer packaged goods and food service products around the world globally outside of our Starbucks stores and cafes. The Global Alliance, therefore, will expand the presence, or has the opportunity to expand our presence of Starbucks packaged coffee by leveraging Nestlé's 5 million points of distribution in 189 different countries. And in addition to that, Starbucks branded Nespresso pots will be available globally, and the two brands will clearly work together and passionately to make coffee the first sustainable agricultural product. Speaking of that, just as the quality of our coffee and the experience we deliver in our stores are important brand differentiators, so too are the way in which we use our scale for good. So as Starbucks, we remain absolutely focused on supporting policies that promote equality and inclusion, that elevate humanity. We take care of our employees, and we want to take care of our employees by giving them access to healthcare and tuition-free education, as you saw in the video. We've set goals for hiring military veterans and their spouses, young people who may not have had many chances in life, and refugees. We also support our communities through food donations and community service, and we certainly aim to work with local suppliers wherever possible, and in doing so, create local jobs and anchor local employment. And while we continue to redefine the responsibilities of a for-profit company and human initiatives, with our focus on social and human initiatives, Starbucks is and will always be a coffee company. Let that be very, very clear. Because it's coffee that has allowed us to activate our social initiatives. Coffee is and will continue to be our reason for being. And we are committed to helping ensure the long-term vitality of the coffee industry, akin to everybody else in this room. Just a few examples to illustrate my point. We've invested more than $100 million in supporting coffee communities, collaborative farmer programs and activities, including our cafe practices, coffee and farmer equity program, our 9 farmer support centers around the world, farmer loans, forest carbon projects, all are targeted and aimed to directly support improving farmer livelihoods, and in doing so, ensure a long-term supply of high-quality coffee for the industry and for us as customers and consumers. We're also collaborating actively with the industry to make coffee the world's first sustainable agricultural product, as a founding member of the Sustainable Coffee Challenge. We reached an industry milestone of 99% ethically sourced coffee. As I mentioned, we also have 9 farmer support centers around the world, and a few years ago opened our own farm, Hacienda Alsacia in Costa Rica, which is an open source hub for coffee research and innovation. Earlier this year, we opened a brand new farms visitor center, which you can see on the slide, which immerses visitors in the life cycle of coffee, and in doing so, hopefully builds passion for coffee for everybody who's visiting, passion for coffee across the entire supply chain from farm to cup. And ladies and gentlemen, isn't that why we're all here? Because of coffee. So over the decades, we've always ensured we never lose focus on celebrating the coffee. Starbucks does not take our success for granted, because that would be the beginning of the end. Okay? It's always been about building mutually beneficial partnerships with our partners, with our farmers, with our customers, with our suppliers, and with the communities that we're privileged to serve. So thank you, PROBAT, for being a valuable partner to Starbucks for the past 40 plus years. And once again, my sincere congratulations for your 150th anniversary on behalf of our customers, on behalf of our baristas, on behalf of our roasting plants, and certainly on behalf of the entire leadership team in Seattle. We thank you and wish you many, many more years of prosperous growth. Cheers to PROBAT, and thank you all. Cheers, Phil.